Hello, this is Rich Heffron, and this is this week's Delaware State Chamber of Commerce Legislative Minute. We've missed a couple. We skipped a couple because of snow, like every other business in Delaware and on the East Coast. Snow has kind of delayed some of the things we'd like to do, but we're back. Legislature had the January session. It ended last Thursday. The highlight of the session was the Governor's State of the State speech, and that was followed the next week by his budget press conference. The governor had several common sense proposals in the State of the State speech, which include coordinating drug treatment. We have a number of programs, and we need to coordinate them so they're all heading in the same direction. Also giving judges a little bit more leeway in sentencing. We have too many people in prison in Delaware. Our prisons are overcrowded, and we have people who probably don't belong in prison, at least for the length of time they're in there. So hopefully that could solve some of that. And he had a couple other proposals. But the important thing he talked about was, at least for the business community, was spending an extra $100 million a year over the next 5 years for infrastructure. The question is, how was he going to finance that? The next week in his budget press conference, he said the proposal included a $50 million bond issue and $50 million that would come from a 10-cent increase in the gas tax and fuel tax. The fact of the matter is, I've talked to legislators, the newspapers talked to legislators. It doesn't look like there's enough support, at least this year, for a 10-cent increase in the gasoline tax. And that would make sense since it is an election year. Also, on top of that, you have the fact that the businesses are facing potential increase in workers' compensation costs. They're paying additional unemployment tax, at least until November of this year, when we have the loan paid off to the federal government. And also, there's a lot of uncertainty over exactly what the Affordable Care Act is going to cost businesses and their employees, and that won't be decided till this fall. So you put all that together, and it's going to be it'll be tough to get a 10-cent increase in the gas tax this year. But right now, we're looking at several other proposals that might make sense. We do have infrastructure needs, obviously in transportation, which have been delayed. We also have infrastructure needs in technology, also in water and wastewater, which the governor talked about. That proposal will come in February. Once again, it's all going to be where the money comes from. Obviously, if you want to make the investment, you need the money to make the investment. We'll see what the governor wants to do there. And that's what this session, at least the early part of this session, will be all about. You know, how are we going to finance infrastructure, and we'll be able to finance infrastructure. We have the needs, we got to find the money. Anyway, like I said, there will be other proposals. That's it for this week. Thank you for listening and watching.